When you think of Nomar Garciaparra, most people think of the fidgeting, toe tapping, pre-at-bat rituals. But Nomar's career was so much more than that, and he was actually one of the best hitters of the late 90s and early 2000s. So let's talk about it. Nomar Garciaparra was born in 1973 in Whittier, California. He's a rare baseball player in that he's of Mexican-American descent, which is about 130 total MLB players in its history, one being the great Ted Williams, and another being everyone's current favorite pitcher right now, Joe Kelly. As a kid, Nomar's father stressed the importance of not striking out, so much so that he rewarded him 25 cents for every hit in T-ball and fined him 50 cents for every strikeout, which obviously paid great dividends, which we'll get to later. In 1991, the Milwaukee Brewers selected Nomar in the 5th round of the MLB draft, but he did not sign. He decided to attend the Georgia Tech Institute of Technology and play college baseball for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Nomar led the team to the 1994 College World Series title game, which they ultimately lost to Oklahoma. He was an ACC All-Star and First-Team All-American twice in 1993 and 1994. His final year in 94, he batted .427, which propelled him to become a first-round pick in the 1994 MLB draft to the Boston Red Sox at pick number 12. Alright, so fast forward to August 31st, 1996. Nomar made his MLB debut. He was a defensive replacement, and he went 0 for 1. The next day, he actually had 3 hits, and his first hit was a home run off Oakland pitcher John Waston. But in total, he played 24 games that year, with 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. The following year, 1997, was his official rookie season and his breakout campaign. It began what turned into a 4-year stretch that was pretty incredible. Here's Nomar's numbers from his rookie season. Not shown there also is a 6.6 WAR according to Baseball Reference, which was good for 4th in the AL. He set MLB records that season for most RBIs by a leadoff hitter and most home runs by a rookie shortstop. He also had a 30-game hitting streak, which is still an AL rookie record to this day. He unanimously won Rookie of the Year, made the All-Star game, competed in the Home Run Derby, finished 8th in the AL MVP voting, and won the Silver Slugger Award for the American League shortstop. So pretty good start there for Nomar, and it only got better. Before the 1998 season began, the Red Sox took a bit of a gamble and signed Nomar to a 5-year, $23.25 million contract with team options for 2003 and 2004 that could boost the deal to almost $45 million. At the time, it was rare for a team to sign a player to a long-term deal after just their rookie season. But Nomar showed his worth right away. By the end of May in the 1998 season, Nomar was moved to the number 3 spot in the batting lineup. That would only last until the end of July, when the team moved him to the cleanup spot, which he would stay for the rest of the season. His power numbers saw a slight uptick as his home run totals increased by 5, he increased his RBIs to 122, which actually was the highest of his career. His OPS increased from 875 to 946, and his OPS plus increased from 123 to 140. OPS plus is basically on-base plus slugging, but it includes external factors like player's ballpark. So 140, 100 is league average. 140 would basically mean that he was 40% better than the league average. He had a 7.1 WAR according to Baseball Reference, which again was 4th in the American League, and his play along with their young stud Pedro Martinez guided the Red Sox to their first playoff appearance in 3 years. The series didn't go as planned as the Red Sox lost in 4 games, but Nomar had a memorable postseason series debut as he finished the series with a .333 batting average, 3 home runs, and 11 RBIs in 18 plate appearances. Nomar literally did everything he could to win the series, as he had 4 RBIs in Game 1, 3 RBIs in Game 2, 3 RBIs in Game 3, and 1 RBI in Game 4. In 1999, expectations were high for Nomar, and he delivered. On May 10th of that season, Nomar had one of the greatest games of his career. He finished the night 3 for 4 with 3 home runs, 2 of them being grand slams, and 10 total RBIs on the night. Nomar again finished with another ridiculous season as he won the American League batting title for the first time of his career. He finished the season with a 6.6 WAR according to Baseball Reference, which was good for 5th in the American League. He was 3rd in slugging percentage at .603, 3rd in OPS, He finished 7th in the American League MVP voting, started the All-Star game which was played in Fenway, and for the second straight year helped guide the Red Sox to the postseason, where they met the Indians in the ALDS for the second year in a row in a series that was absolutely bonkers. Nomar was only able to play 4 of the 5 games, and the Red Sox pulled it out after falling down 2-0 in the series. I don't want to go too in detail from the series itself, but Game 4, the Red Sox won 23-7, and Game 5, it was 8-7 after the 3rd inning, and then the Red Sox decided to put in their ace, Pedro Martinez, and he no-hit them for the rest of the game, with the Red Sox winning 12-8. In the 4 games that Nomar played, he finished with a .417 batting average, 2 home runs, and 4 RBIs, and became the first player in MLB history to hit safely and score a run in the first 5 games of his postseason career. The Red Sox would go on to lose to the juggernaut Yankees in 5 games of the ALCS that season, but again Nomar was at his best. He finished that 5-game series with a .400 batting average, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs. At this point in Nomar's career, it was apparent he was one of the best players in the league, and arguably the best shortstop in the league, and the numbers show it. From 1997 to 1999, Nomar had a higher batting average, OPS, OPS+, slugging percentage, more RBIs, more doubles, and more total bases than Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter. And then unfortunately, in the following year, 2000, the entire world ended because of Y2K.
It's a different ballgame. Oh my gosh.
Can you believe people really thought that? Anyways, so 2000 came, Y2K didn't end the world, and Nomar did what he's been doing to an even better rate. Nomar finished this year with a .372 batting average. 372. That's ridiculous. It was a different era. It was a hitter's league. It was the steroid era. I get all of that. But 372, especially from a right-handed hitter not in Coors Field, is no slouch. And he actually was batting as high as .403 on July 20th of that season. He finished short of .400, which still hasn't been done since the aforementioned Ted Williams, but his .372 average was the highest batting average by a right-handed hitter in the post-war era. He also easily won the American League batting title for the 2nd year in a row, which is the first right-handed hitter at the time to do so since Joe DiMaggio. The Red Sox were in a year of transition, so they missed the postseason, and Nomar ended up finishing 9th in American League MVP voting. The first 4 years of Nomar's career have gone pretty much perfectly. He was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, the star of a huge market, and undoubtedly one of the best hitters in baseball. Heading into his 2001 season, it was widely speculated whether Nomar could challenge the .400 mark. He was even called by Sports Illustrated the toughest out in baseball. The Red Sox also that offseason signed Manny Ramirez to a lucrative deal, and their core was intact. But unfortunately, Nomar had a lingering wrist injury, and just a week after the issue in Sports Illustrated was released, he had to get surgery, which held him on the injured list all the way until the end of July that season. He hit a memorable home run in his first game back, but was only able to play 21 games that year as he re-aggravated the wrist injury and was shut down by the end of August. The Red Sox missed the postseason for the 2nd year in a row, and before the 2002 season began, the Boston Red Sox were purchased by a new ownership team. Times were changing in Boston, but all seemed well for Nomar. He recovered from his wrist injury and posted another superstar campaign in 2002. He made his 4th All-Star game, finished 11th in American League MVP voting. He led the league in doubles, played the most games of his career that year at 156, and helped the Red Sox win 93 games. But amazingly, it still wasn't enough to make the postseason. Before the 2003 season, the new ownership group approached Nomar with a 4-year, $60 million contract extension that he ultimately declined. Apparently the issue was over an $8 million signing bonus, but this was the beginning of the end of Nomar's career in Boston. Fresh off rejecting a big contract extension, Nomar put up another All-Star season in 2003. He finished 7th in the MVP voting and helped lead Boston back to the postseason. Not shown in his overall numbers here was a huge slump in September where he hit 170, and it carried over into the postseason. He hit .300 in the ALDS, but in 5 games he managed only 1 extra base hit and 0 RBIs. Despite the lack of Nomar's run production, the Red Sox moved on to face the Yankees in the infamous 2003 ALCS. In the 7-game series, though, Nomar's struggles continued as he batted just .241 with 1 extra base hit and 1 RBI in 31 plate appearances. That offseason, it was becoming more and more clear that Nomar's time with the Red Sox was coming to an end. Still unable to agree on a contract extension, the Red Sox explored a few different trade options, including one for Maglio Ordonez, and of course the megastar Alex Rodriguez. Although none of these things came to fruition for the Red Sox, all of the rumors angered Nomar, and without a new deal in place, Red Sox ownership was fully prepared to move on from Nomar after the 2004 season. Further complicating the matter, Nomar was out until June with an Achilles heel injury. When he returned, he hit pretty well, going .321 with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs in 38 games, but his defense saw a significant decline because of the injury, and he could only play sparingly due to the severity of the injury. Finally, on July 31st, 2004, Nomar was the key piece to a 4-team blockbuster deal that saw him go to Chicago and the Red Sox net 2 Gold Glovers in Orlando Cabrera and Doug Mankiewicz. One of the main focal points for the trade was to increase the team's defense, as Theo Epstein believed they could not win a title with their current defensive roster. And it worked, as the Red Sox overcame a 3-0 deficit in the ALCS to the Yankees and went on to sweep the Cardinals in the World Series, ending their 86-year title drought. There's actually a pretty cool video that MLB did on how the Nomar trade actually led to the Red Sox getting Chris Sale and then ultimately winning the 2018 World Series. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description for you guys. As for Nomar, he continued to battle the Achilles injury, as he was only able to play in 43 games down the stretch, hitting .297 with 4 home runs and 20 RBIs as the Cubs narrowly missed the postseason. In the offseason, Nomar was unable to get a long-term deal with the Cubs due to the severity of his Achilles heel injury. He signed a 1-year, $8.25 million deal to remain with the Cubs, but ended up tearing his left groin, and he played in only 62 games that season. In 2006, he signed another 1-year deal, this time with his hometown team of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The deal was worth $6 million, with another $2.5 million in performance bonuses. At this point, it was clear that Nomar made a big mistake by turning down the $60 million contract extension he was offered just a few off-seasons earlier. Nomar switched his position to first base, and he began the season hitting like the Nomar of old. His batting average reached as high as .370 in June, and he went to the All-Star break with a .358 average, 11 home runs, 53 RBIs, while carrying a 21-game hitting streak. He made the All-Star game on the National League's final vote in what turned out to be the last All-Star game of his career. Nomar played a big role in the Dodgers making the postseason. He had numerous clutch hits down the stretch, won the NL Comeback Player of the Year, and he finished 13th in National League MVP voting. The Dodgers were swept by the Mets in the 2006 NLDS, but Nomar had earned a 2-year, $18.5 million contract from the Dodgers that offseason. But in 2007, at 33 years old, Nomar's numbers dropped substantially. He played in only 1 less game than the year before, but all of his numbers across the board decreased. Perhaps most notably, his OPS plus went from 120 in 2006 down to 80 in 2007, essentially a 40% swing. In 2008, he spent numerous stints on the injured list and only appeared in 55 games total for the season. Nomar didn't play at all in the NLDS, and in the NLCS he actually appeared in 4 games, going 3 for 7 with an RBI, as the Dodgers were eliminated by the eventual World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies. In 2009, he signed a 1-year deal with Oakland, but he only appeared in 65 games, and the following year in 2010, he decided to hang him up at 35 years old. Nomar's story is a bit of a sad one, as it was clear he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and injuries derailed his entire career, and on top of all that, he turned down big money, and it didn't pay off well for him. But overall, his career should be appreciated, as he was one of the best players at his position for almost 7 seasons, and he helped revitalize the Boston franchise that was struggling. Hey guys, I just want to thank you for making it this far. We have so much more content to come, so please make sure to subscribe, drop a like on the video, and comment what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and also if you have any ideas for the next one. Thanks guys.